Hey guys, Ivan here, and this video we're gonna begin with a Roelly Winkler update. This is Roelly Winkler right now, and this is what he looks like after 7 weeks of not even working out. It's crazy, right? Looking like this after 7 weeks of not training. I guess he does have a lot of real muscle that stays when he's not training, and it's usually very strong muscle. And yes, Roelly Winkler is incredibly strong, and of course he looks like he is. Here in the caption of this new photo that he posted, he says, after 7 weeks of rest, I started my first training today. So I'm guessing this photo was taken after a workout with a pump. I don't know if he was training arms. His arms do look pumped, but he probably doesn't really train his arms directly. Maybe he did some chest and shoulders and indirectly he hit triceps, so that's how he got an arm pump. I don't know, but he looks big here, right? I mean, he looks like his old self. Before his previous season started, he said that he hasn't been training for a couple of months, for like 3 months or something like that, and then he started prepping for those shows where he failed miserably, where he was beaten by almost everybody and anybody. So now... again, he took some time off of training and he started now, but there are no plans, as far as we know, of him competing anytime soon. So I hope he will do a show in the latter part of the year before the Mr. Olympia, because he needs to grow some muscle. Yeah, as crazy as it sounds, Roelly actually does need to do some growing, because that's what Roelly Winkler is. When he is as big as he used to be, that's when he's very dangerous and he can actually beat everybody. Downsized version of Roelly that we saw this past season can't even qualify for the Mr. Olympia, so I mean, still he's a top pro, even like that, but not what he used to be, so he needs a good off-season. Here, he actually looks big. I don't know, I mean, he says he hasn't been training for 7 weeks. It's kind of hard to believe that, but I believe him. Why would he lie? So if he looks like this after 7 weeks of rest, how will he look like after 7 weeks of training? After 3, 4, 5 months of off-season training and then dieting down and getting ready for the show? I don't know, it might be a Mr. Olympia winning package. Yeah, I know Roelly is not that young, he's getting older every day and he's like in his mid-40s now, but, you know, he still looks fresh. He still does look young. He just looks downsized because he didn't train during the off-season before his prep. He was just unable to grow into the show like he probably thought he would. So he got shredded, but he was still too small. Now, having an off-season and looking like this before the off-season actually starts, I'm very optimistic about his future. I don't think Roelly Winkler is done. Yes, the previous season was horrible for him, but I still feel like he has a lot of fuel left in the tank, a lot more to give to bodybuilding. Once again, let's wait and see how he progresses. I'm sure his next physique update from the off-season is going to look like something crazy. If he looks like this right now, before even starting his off-season, yeah, I'm guessing that's going to be something really freaky. And I'll make sure to mention that in my channel, so guys, stay tuned. We also got an update of Phil Heath, let's call it an off-season update. Let's hope he's in his off-season and he's not retired. It's not official, he's not officially retired, but we are all pretty much guessing that he's done. I mean, he skipped 2019 to compete in 2020 and to fail, to be third, and then not to compete in 2021. It would be just odd if we saw him compete again in 2022. So most likely, yeah, he's retired. But does he look like he needs to retire? Based on this photo, well, his arm doesn't look small. I mean, it looks big, pretty big, right? The forearm, the bicep, the tricep, the shoulder also looks pretty good. So, I mean, many bodybuilders, when they retire, they usually downsize quite fast. Because, I mean, if they're sure that's it, if they really don't want to compete anymore ever again, they downsize because it's much healthier for them to be, let's say, 220 tops. But with somebody of Phil's structure, I would say 200 is closer to a healthy weight. But, you know, in the off-season, he usually weighs quite a bit more than that. He's probably like 270, something like that, when he's full-blown. Right here, right now, no, he doesn't look like he's 270. He's obviously not pushing the foot at training in the gear. So he's probably like 240, 250, but that's still heavy. I mean, I would believe if he told me that he went off for a while, that he wasn't training very hard or eating, and this is what he looks like now. If he started pushing things from this point, he would blow up. So he's not done. Like physically, if he wants to compete again, he still can be really good. I just don't know how bad is his midsection looking right now, but I think that's why his career is ended. I don't think it's gonna ever look decent, good enough for him to beat the other guys. No matter how much he's better than everybody else, the stomach is just that bad. But once again, this is an update of him in the off season or during his retirement. Whatever it is, he looks good, he looks big, his arms look big and round. So I don't know, I mean, let's hope he competes again. It will be interesting to see it, but I think for his career it's probably for the best, in case his stomach is still the same, to actually stop competing and retire. Before we get to the young and up and coming guys, we have a couple of those. We're gonna go with somebody, William Bonac here, who is kind of in the middle, who a lot of people are actually thinking might be retiring sometime soon, whose career started fading slowly. Every time he competes at the Mr. Olympia, his placement is lower, but he's doing the Arnold Classic this year, and this is another update of him. He posted a couple of those, but in this one, he looks pretty good actually. I mean, you know that this guy is not exactly blessed with a crazy wide structure, right? His shoulders are not really that wide. He's kind of narrow to the shoulders, but he packs a ton of muscle in his frame. Now, in those photos that he posted before this one, he didn't look this big. He didn't look this full and round. It looks like he's growing into the show. There are 8 weeks left before the Arnold Classic, and William Bonac seems to be getting better, you know? He seems to be getting bigger, fuller, rounder, so I'm feeling more optimistic about this guy. When I saw those first photos and, you know, considering his previous performance, I thought he might place as low as like 5th spot at the Arnold. But then again, you know, he's like the favorite, one of the favorites. It's him and Brandon. They are definitely, I mean, Brandon is definitely the favorite because he was second at the Mr. Olympia 2 times in a row, and the year before that he won. Bonac, he was second 2019 at the Mr. Olympia, but this year he was 6th. You know, he was down in top 5, so his stock is going down slowly. He started fading when he stopped working with Neil Hill. You know, that's the last year he looked really amazing, 2019 Arnold Classic. He did well at the Mr. Olympia as well, but he could have won that show if you ask me, if he was as he was at the Arnold. So ever since, you know, he started actually prepping himself. He didn't work with a coach. Ever since that moment, he looked worse and worse. Now, he finally started working with a coach, and it is Abdullah from Kuwait Gyms. I believe he's also prepping Brandon Curry, is that right? But yeah, he's one of the top coaches from Kuwait. So I don't know, maybe this is going to work out well for Bonac. I think he needs a coach. I don't think he can do it alone. I think he needs somebody to guide him. And now, things might start clicking better, you know? Maybe he's actually gonna win the Arnold Classic. I know he's going against Brandon, and for a couple of years, Brandon has always been better than Bonac, but if Brandon doesn't really bring it, like if he's not 100% on and Bonac actually is, you know, it might go in Bonac's favor. But we'll see what's going to happen with Bonac. You know, he might actually be in that 5th spot that I just mentioned. Maybe he'll be beaten by some new up-and-coming guys. For example, the guy who is commenting right here in this photo, and that's Brett Wilkin. As you can see, William Bonac is commenting on his updates as well. He did the same thing Bonac did with Nick Walker. They used to comment on each other's photos, and I think they had some back and forth for a little while, but then William Bonac pulled out of that show. Now he's doing it, and he's gonna face some serious threats. It's gonna be hard for him to defend the title, and we have this up-and-coming guy, Brett Wilkin. And if you guys follow my channel, you know that I have him winning the show. I know, it's crazy, because he never stood against some of the guys, most of the guys that are gonna do it, but I can see it, I still can see that happening. So here, this is his most recent physique update. His upper body looks good. I mean, he added a couple of pounds, like 7 pounds, I believe, from his previous season. And why do I think he can beat Brandon? Why he can win? Like here in this photo, he looks great, but does he look like Brandon Curry when he does most muscular, hands clasped? No, I'm not saying he's that good, but do I need to say it? Brad has legs, and that's something Brandon Curry does not. And he has some seriously huge legs, really big and flaring quads, and they're actually flowing well on his physique. And they can actually even be bigger, right? I mean, that's how big he actually is. You can't really grasp how big this guy is when he's standing alone, but compared to the other people, he is actually a big bodybuilder. And here you can see his legs. He updated this photo as well. So he's gonna dwarf Brandon's legs for sure. Now upper body, I'm sure Brandon is gonna be a little bit better, but it's gonna be enough. I mean, is Brandon's upper body gonna be enough to beat this guy right here, Brett Wilkin? I don't know. We'll see. Maybe Brett is gonna be like 6th. I don't know. I mean, he was second to Hunter, and it was a close second. Some people had him winning that Chicago Pro, and then Hunter went on and placed 4th at the Mr. Olympia, looking pretty much the same as he looked at Chicago. So, you know, that kind of says something, but we still have to wait and see. I mean, beating Brandon Curry, that's incredible. That's a huge feat, and it would be insane if it happened. If it happened, it would mean that Brett is the one who's going to be challenging Big Ramy for the title. It would be like him, Nick Walker, Big Ramy. Those guys would be like the top bodybuilders in the world. And is Brett that good? I don't know. We'll see. I mean, he has 8 more weeks to get harder, to get more impressive. And I'm sure that is exactly what's going to happen. And when he stands on that stage, that's when you're going to see how big he is and how much did he grow. He says he added like 7 to 10 pounds to that previous version that was absolutely ridiculous. And, you know, before the Chicago, based on his photos, you wouldn't guess that he would look that good on stage compared to the other guys. He shines on stage. He has Matt Jansen, one of the best coaches, arguably the best coach right now in the business, guiding him. And it seems like Matt Jansen doesn't even miss with his peak weeks with his guys and girls. He always does perfect job. So I'm guessing it's going to be the same story again at the Arnold. I don't think Brett is going to miss the mark. And when he comes completely on with 7 to 10 pounds added from his previous version, that's going to be a dangerous package. And here is Andrew Jacked, showing his flexibility. But I'm not really that impressed with his flexibility as I'm impressed with the size of his arms and everything else. I mean, the chest, the lats, everything. So James Hollins here had this guy winning the Arnold Classic, and he's not even a pro yet. But he is bound to actually compete in the Arnold Classic Amateur, and if he qualifies, if he actually wins that pro card, he is qualified. He can do the Arnold Classic Pro if he wants to. So we'll see if he's gonna do that, but if he's gonna, I'm guessing he's going to win the Arnold Classic Amateur. Is he gonna do the Pro division as well? I don't know. But if he did, would he have a chance to actually win that show? Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think he's that good. I know he's a freak. He looks amazing. He does look very, very impressive. These arms are really freaking impressive, and his physique overall is great. But I feel like on his height, he should add a little bit more muscle to get more around. But I mean, he looks amazing as he is. But to win the Arnold Classic, it would take, a little bit more, I believe. We'll see. Right now, he looks great. And I'm guessing he's going to turn pro. He should. He looks like a pro. We'll find out about that in 8 weeks as well. That's going to do it for this video, guys. If you enjoyed it, please give it a like. And for more bodybuilding stuff like this, subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. All the best, and bye-bye.